Welcome back to the John Fourcade Show. One of our John Fourcade specials this week, all remaining 2016 F-250s and 350s, $11,000 off in savings. Again, all remaining 2016 F-250s and 350s, $11,000 off. Can't find a better deal than right here at Veterans Ford. Welcome back to the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford. Mike to tell you along with John Fourcade. And John, man, the Saints pulled one out late against Seattle, a football game that finally we got some balance on offense. The Saints 375 yards, total yards, but the penalties, Seattle caught it, 11 penalties, the Saints just 2. But I think the story of this game, Tim Hightower, 26 carries, 102 yards. And Sean Payton showed patience in this game like we haven't seen in quite some time with the running game. And I think a lot of that had to do with the success of Tim Hightower.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You hit the nail on the head right there. He took his time. He understood what was going on. It was a game where these teams kind of sort of match up a little bit in some areas, but overall, Seattle's a better club. But by them running the ball as much as they did, it took a little more pressure off of those guys rushing and getting to Drew Brees. But let's just be honest right now. Hightower's got to start from now on because Ingram's fumbling is going to cost his team. But overall, Drew threw in the 30s of passes. He didn't throw in the 40s, what we always said. If he gets them in the 30s and they can run the football, they're going to win some football games. And this was a close battle. And like you said, the penalties, now, there was a couple of pick plays, a couple of rub plays there, but that's part of football.
The last one was much more flagrant. The first one, that you see all the time, but the second one definitely was an obvious one. And that normally doesn't go the Saints' way.
Right.
So anybody says, oh, well, this game was fair and square. B.W. Webb, at the end of the game, you've been in that situation as a quarterback. You got a receiver open, but B.W. did a nice job just forcing him a little bit out of the play. And that's a lot easier said than done.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Those DBs, the smart ones know how to cut that angle to these players and kind of run them and hook them up against that sideline area. There's no room for error. The young guys usually want to just run with you and make a play, but the smarter guys that you know of, and trust me, that wasn't a very good pass play to be throwing the first ball to try to win a football game at the end of the game. You've got to have Jimmy Graham out there. Thank God it wasn't. Thank God it didn't happen in our case, but I don't understand what they are doing with Jimmy Graham in Seattle. I don't really care. That's nothing to do with us anymore. But overall, it was a good game for the Saints. I thought the defense played an excellent football game.
Other thing, too, is, and listen, we bash him on here, but I give him credit. This was Jarvis Bird's best game ever as a Saint. He made plays, he made tackles, and he was aggressive out on the football field.
Well, that's why I was saying the defense plays so much better than it has all year long, giving up 20 points. And once again, Mike, they gave up a fumble for a touchdown, which doesn't go to the defensive side of football. That's the offensive problem they have right there. But the way the defense has got around, I think the linebacking core came back. I think I saw a guy named Ellaby play in that game.
Yeah, but then he didn't even get to, I think there was an over and under in the locker room of 21. He didn't even get to that.
Right.
So again, he's hurt again. He did, again, he's a good player, just you can't keep him healthy. Andrews Pete, too. We've seen his development as a left guard. Now, he plays a lot better when Tehran's out there, and you can understand why, but I think he's much more comfortable on the left side, and I thought he had a pretty solid game up against Seattle.
Well, you're hurting with the offensive line. You know how bad our line, and they shuffling everybody around, Mike, and they finally decided that, hey, we'll go with these guys. But look, when you got a left tackle that's going to help you out there, and you got a pretty good center, your job is to take care of that one little spot right there. He's done a very good job at it, and now if we can get everybody on board, look, 102 yards rushing, by Hightower. It's not 130, not 140, but it cracked the 100-yard mark, and it made them control the line of scrimmage a little bit better because there wasn't much sacks on Drew this past week, and that's the thing, keep him upright, and they'll take a win like that any day of the week.
Will Lutz, who has missed some makeable field goals, but he was money against Seattle, and this is what you're paying him for, and I know Sean had made the comment, the best workout he's ever seen with a place kicker. Now, the way some of the place kickers the Saints had, that might not be a hard bar to jump over. But I think Will Lutz, coming in as a rookie kicker, he did one heck of a job against Seattle.
Well, the thing about it is he was at home, in the dome. It's a lot easier on that field. I can tell you right now, Morton Anderson in the Superdome, the years he's played, it's a flat surface. It's usually easier to kick off of. When you go to the outside, you got the wind, you got the grass, you got some of these fields got a crown depending on where you're playing at. The young man has stepped up and played. Now, granted, they haven't asked him to win a lot of games as a kicker, but he's been really consistent when it comes to the field goals.
I don't think it'll happen this week, but I wouldn't be surprised by the time Denver, the game, next home game, Delvin Breaux, Sheldon Rankins will be in the lineup. I don't think either one are going to play against San Francisco this week, but I do think both of them have a real strong shot to play against Denver. And I mean, I know you're looking a little bit ahead of time, but those two guys do make a difference on this defense. Delvin, I think he's the best cornerback that's ever played for the Saints. And Sheldon Rankins, I know he can play. I mean, he's a guy that can really push the inside pocket. This team might be getting healthy at the right time, at least to make a little bit of a run. I think they're always going to be mercurial. You'll win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 1. But I think getting Rankins and Breaux back, not this week, but next, I think certainly is going to help.
Well, it's going to help the defense, especially up front. Maybe get some more pass pressure on the guys up front, and that will maybe open up the defensive ends to get to the quarterback. Kruger played pretty good in this last football game. You know, Cameron Jordan didn't do all that, but he's still consistent out there. The linebacking core, you know, we can see, like you said, we're going through so many of them, but some of these guys are stepping up and playing very well.
Nate Stupar,
yes,
Craig Robertson.
Those guys are stepping up. But you hit the nail on the head. Breaux coming back will be drastically an improvement in the secondary, because you know what our secondary is right now. I can't even name all the guys back there now. I mean, each week they rotate them around like, you know, like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. But when Breaux comes back and he's healthy enough to play, but you hit the nail on the head too, Mike, when you said about up and down. You can't win, lose, because
I think that's
you can't catch the Atlanta Falcons that way. Atlanta Falcons showed me something. They came back from 2 losses and they won this past weekend. But you to get in the playoffs, I think you got to win a division.
Well, I almost had my eardrums bursted by another former Saints quarterback when Brandon Coleman makes a catch, and I think he had no idea where he was on the field, and just sits down, and basically he's happy with the catch. As a former quarterback, and you see a player do that on the field, and then Kobe Fleener has an opportunity to make a play, cut it up the field, and he just kind of gets to the out-of-bounds area. Man, all I know is the guy sitting next to me, he screamed bloody murder for a good 10 minutes over that, especially the Brandon Coleman deal, because he made no effort to get up.
He did, and I didn't scream as bad as he did, but I was telling myself, what are you doing? I mean, maybe make a rollover or something, or do something, or maybe baby crawl and do what you got to do. He just caught it. On my radio show, like I said, he's in a fetal position.
Again, a 6'6" receiver who plays like he's 5'6" sometimes, and I mean, again, I don't know how much longer you're going to go with the potential part with him. I thought Max Unger played a good game, going up against his old squad with Seattle, and I thought he did a nice job of handling things in the middle. But Bobby Wagner, I mean, every play it seemed as though tackled by Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner. I think he's the most underrated big-time defensive player in the pro game today.
Well, he's a stud on that defense. There's no doubt about it. He does a lot for the Seattle's defense. I wish we had somebody like that we could turn our hats to and say, hey, this guy's just constantly week in and week out. He comes to show to play every week, Mike. You ever watch this guy? He plays for 110%, all plays, all out, and he does so much for Seattle. We got to get somebody like that on our defensive side of football. We don't have that.
And one of the things I'm sure the Saints will be talking to their defensive players about, if you score a touchdown, don't hug the referee. That's a 15-yard penalty. We'll be back with more of the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford.